I know that Michael Jackson was a student of yours. What was it like working with Michael, and what was it like watching him absorb your creative style and making it his own and adapting it? Because I know he quoted one time that he learned the moonwalk from 3 black kids from the ghetto, but in reality you were one of the 3 black kids from the ghetto that he was talking about, and he never mentioned your name. So what was it like working with him between the years of 83 to 91 and inputting some of the most important moments in his career, in his dance career?
For me, at the time, I just worked with him for bragging rights. Meaning, no. I mean, I knew how famous he was, but at the time, I just was like, okay, you know what? I got a cool gig with one of the Jacksons, you know, and I didn't. I saw how people were coming at him. Everybody was taking and wanting this and that from him. But when he called me, I felt very, very special, because it was like, okay, now I'm getting a chance to rehearse with this guy. And it was a private rehearsal. I never did choreography with him. Right. But I was like consulting him on his solo. From 1983 to 1991, my first work that I saw that he used out of the sessions was in 1984, right after the Motown 25 special. He debuted the moonwalk, which is really the backslide. He debuted the moonwalk to the world, and everybody went, wow. It was just one step. After that, when we got together, I had no idea how he was going to use whatever we did in the session until I went to the Victory Tour, which you can look up online on the 1984 Victory Tour. At the end, during the live show, at the end of Billie Jean, he had a longer piece for Billie Jean, a breakdown, where he's he does the same backslide that he did in Motown 25, but a longer version. But after he stops, he goes in a circle float.
I remember that. I saw it on VHS.
Then he throws his hat. That's the first time I ever seen how much I contributed to him to help enhance his creative style and stuff. His personal style. Then years later, I would start seeing, I'm known for animation. The animation is like the ticking. Years later, I started seeing things come out in his style, like the ticking, and more waving, and so it was an interesting experience to be able to look back and see my work. And he was composed of many people like Bob Fosse and Gene Kelly, all these great choreographers, the late Michael Peters, and you can see in different productions everybody's work. But when it came to his solo, I love to look back and wow.
Because you saw a lot of what you
I saw a lot of my stuff in his solo, I mean, it's just, it still blows me away, it was really something.
How did the Bart dance thing come along in 1990?
That was really interesting because I had just worked with Paula Abdul on Opposites Attract. 2 steps forward, I take 2 steps. I played the cat, and they animated me over that. So Paula, it's all one big circle.
I never even knew that. I thought that was just something they drew in.
No, it's online. On YouTube, you have to go under Rare Opposites Attract, and it shows the behind-the-scenes footage with me in it. So anyhow, when I worked with Paula, before we did Opposites Attract, she choreographed the Victory Tour. She's on the bill as the choreographer for the Jacksons Victory Tour. Right. Okay, and then she was discovered by them being a Lakers cheerleader. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, that I did know.
Okay, but she did choreograph the Victory Tour, and I did Michael's solo stuff. So then years later, Michael saw what I did with Opposites Attract, and he got the job. He wrote the song for Do the Bartman. Everybody, if you can, do the Bartman. So he calls me up and he says, you know what? I have this idea that I want to work out with you. He goes, I just did a song for Do the Bartman, and I want you to come to Neverland and work out the choreography. I go, are you serious? He goes, yeah. So he called me and we worked out the steps for Do the Bartman, and the rest is history, Right. But I was just flattered. I mean, that session, I hope someday that the footage would come out.
That's a big part of Fox history.
No.
Do the bar dance and all of that.
It was huge. It was phenomenal. And in the session, he recorded the session. I'm hoping that those tapes come out because that was the first time I ever really seen more of Michael's progression as a popper. The stuff that he was doing when we were practicing, he was waving, he was doing a lot of stuff that people have never seen on film.
Wow.
You know, while we were working out the steps and just practicing. And, you know, it was really interesting to sit back and see his love for the art of popping. It's not breakdancing, but he was very adamant of trying to learn popping. You know, I mean, in the 70s, he did dancing, that's when she watch get down, and he did the robot. But later on, he started getting back into the art of freestyle dancing and started wanting to learn how to pop.
Right.
You know, boom. And then he started snapping his chest. Remember that?
That was
bad.
There you go.
Bow. Bow.
Mid-90s, he started doing that.
Then he became the moonwalker. You know, and he started really getting slick with it. And we saw a progression. My favorite thing, there's a small scene in the video Scream with him and Janet Jackson. There's a breakdown in the song where he's doing a side-by-side ticking thing, a waving thing he's never done. I did the same move in 1983 on YouTube at Radiotron when it was like one of my signature moves. He ended up doing the same thing years later in Scream.
Right.
Yeah.